Hello, everybody, to the latest Cup race in Nitro. This race was held at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and this race was 160 laps. I felt pretty good coming into this one. I usually run pretty well at Atlanta. Our qualifying did not represent that at all. Qualified a solid P16 out of 18 that qualified. Yeah, I felt pretty great about that. Super good at qualifying, by the way. In reality, I've been struggling really bad at qualifying so far this season. I knew this race was going to be pretty wild. I didn't know it was going to be as wild as it was. Frankly, I thought this race was really bad. So bad that next week might look a lot different. So, yeah, I wasn't really too happy with how this race went from a quality perspective. Fair warning. Yeah. So, here we are coming to the start of the race. And I just see the sea of cars, and I'm like, oh god, it's going to be terrifying. So, we actually get going, and not much happens here, if I recall correctly. It was also found out pretty quick. Outside is garbage. It was so bad, man. If you got pinned out there, it was over. No chance. You're done. Losing 10 spots. Because the train was a hell of a thing on the inside. So, yeah, we're just going to skip ahead a little bit here. And we jump to lap 7, and I've been starting to move my way up to P7 here. And then we go into this turn, and then even hits the apron and hits Eagle up the track, and I'll take a 2-for-1 deal here. And the car was really tight. Combat said we should do with his adjustments, we need to be tight, and it was very bizarre for me at this point as he even gets on my inside, but he actually let me get back in line because he realized we needed to catch these front guys. But back to the setup. The car was really tight. It was really different for me. Usually I like running really, really loose here. And the tightness was a little bizarre for me to get used to. So, but the speed was good. And we're jumping up a few more laps here to lap 11. And you see we have caught the lead pack here. And the 17 of Kyle Busch got shuffled up high. And basically, if you get shuffled like that, you're losing all these spots. There's not really any chance Fails got shuffled up. So that means we're probably going to end up third in a turn or two here. But you can see the 24 is trying to pinch really hard because that's all you can really do and hope they make a mistake. Because, and rocket leg there a bit. And yeah, I mean, it's just hard when you're on the outside. You have to try to pinch so hard. And we're up to third, so we're gonna see how this goes further in the race. And I was feeling really good at this point, so I was happy with the speed, and I was like, man, we're gonna have a good race today. And at this point, I was surprised we haven't had a caution or anything. And let me just this is the calm before the storm. Because this race turns into a disaster. And jumping a few more laps here, I'm lap 15. We've moved into second. But I go into turn 3, and it doesn't turn in. And you'll see what happens when you get stuck on the outside. So Evan's going to get by me. And then the 17. And then we go into turn 1 and 2. And able to get a decent run here, but yeah, the inside is going to prevail every time. And just I wanted to get in a hole, but just couldn't get in. And here comes the 88. And Christian tried to look there in the 4 car, but he thought better of it. And then this is all pain, suffering. The outside is terrible. Here comes the 9. Here comes the 24. this race turned out to really be like a plate race, and where you just hold the bottom and hope for the best. But looks like the 24 got tied or something, and I was able to slip into 6th. So 2nd to 6th in like a lap and a half. Everything's great. Now we're gonna jump a little further into the race. Here on lap 24, the 17 is called. He's going to pit, and Fails is still on the inside, and the 17's on the brakes, and he gets destroyed from the 24, even though it was called. I guess the communication was not as great as I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, that was just weird and unfortunate for the 17. And then a couple laps later, I'm going to come into pit. So are most of my teammates, and Rocket's coming, and then he gets cleaned out too. And the big thing here is that the 95 hits him, and then he spins, so that's going to make a caution come out. And since we're on pit road, we're going to end up on the lead lap still. So that was lucky for us. But it turned out that really wasn't going to gain anything off it because we were so far behind and had to catch up, and we can't actually gain any spots, but that's not a big deal. So we're just going to jump to the next restart. Going to the next restart, starting in P8 here. And green's out. So I was like, man, we got to get to the inside fast. And it looks like the 48 of Tyler, if it was just a little worse, I could have slipped in. I was so sad. And I was pretty worried at this point because I'm like, oh man, the train's gonna form, and I'm gonna go take a 3 wide because I'm not wasting any time. And the 48 backs out, but I can't get it down though. But I'm just gonna try to hold it full throttle as best as I can. But the 48 lets me in somehow. I don't think he meant to do it on purpose, but I'll take it because that was so big for us at this point. Because I was like, man, I could have been like 10th if I didn't get in because the line just. The inside is just too good. I actually think at this point Jay was leading. And he's been having a rough season at this point. So we're going to jump up a couple laps here as I go inside of the 10 and pass him. And here we're going to jump to lap 38. A caution's actually been called. So we're coming to 2 to go in the stage. And since there was some confusion, and I made the probably wrong calls for a lap shootout here because of we couldn't do a choose cone. So this is the last lap of this stage, and I'm gonna have a chance to win it. But we'll find out what happens as we go into turn 1. And Evan's kind of screwed because he had to start on the outside, and then coming down the back, I'm like, I have to go to outside because he's just gonna hold the inside. Andrew's just gonna hold the inside, and there's nothing I can do. So I'm just going to pinch him hard and stick it full throttle, but obviously that's not going to work because Atlanta, and then Eddie's going to get on my inside, and then because I'm not paying attention because I'm trying to see where I'm going to finish in the stage, I hit the wall, and Evan's able to get me too. So I kind of derped on that one, but we got P4 in the stage, which is pretty good. Now we're going to jump up to the start of the next day. And here we are for the start of stage 2, starting in P5. And Eddie does not go very well. So we're going to be P3 by this entrance of turn 1. And going through 1 and 2, pretty happy where I'm going to be. Like, okay, P3, it's pretty good. But even slips up a little bit, and I'm going to take this opportunity. And then Andrew's going way down low. I don't know what's going on there. But we're able to get P2 out of turn 3 and 4 here, and we're going to do a huge jump to like lap 68 because not much happens, to be honest. There was like a little checkup at some point, but we were able to get through that madness of the checkup and end up P4, but it spread out the field quite a bit, which was actually really nice because we could just run some laps and get through the race a bit. So obviously you can see our tires and fuel light are on, so we're going to be coming to pit road this time. Oh, lap 69. Nice! Got to get the nice in there. But I felt really good still. The car was good. It was just hard to pass the leader because he just sticks sticks it on the yellow line and you can't do anything because the outside sucks. But here we come into pit road. Got on the brakes really early just to make sure I didn't run out anyone over, and yep, got in nice and clean. No speeding this week so far. And we're just gonna jump up to the last lap of this stage because not much happened. But somehow Rocket caught me and passed me. But at this point, I was content riding behind him because I don't need a stage point, and he needs it more than I do. So I was fully content riding behind here just to let him get that extra point that he might need later in the season. So yeah, we're just gonna come through 3 and 4 and gonna come home P6 in this stage, and Gary's right behind us in P7. So, and yeah, the race so far for me has been really good. So we're gonna move on to the start of stage 3 here, and we're gonna be starting P7 for stage 3 here, and green's out. And I stayed in second gear too long. I rev limited, and then that allows Kyle Busch 05 to get inside. And that was kind of a derp on my part because I kind of messed up the restart a little bit. So we're going to jump up a few laps to like lap 90 here in a second here because we moved up to P3 eventually. And then I'm going to make a move on the 24. I think I got my nose in. And then I don't think Fails realized where I was at all, and he kind of took me out. And then get hit here, and some cars are spinning, and then the caution gets called at this point. So I was like, oh, that's a little awkward. And that was pretty unfortunate because now we're gonna have to start on the back and all the chaos. So here we come to the restart in P16. P16. This was it was really horrifying to be honest. So we're going. The outside is not going. So that's already a decent sign for me because if the outside gets checked up early, that's good. But they started to get a run on down the back. But I get under LCS here, and then Jay's gonna cut in front of me. And then we go into turn 3. I'm expecting a huge crash, but going to jump up a little further ahead because not much happens. And then I get past Jay for 7th, and we're going to jump ahead again. And then a few laps later, you can see I've moved up to 3rd. It was kind of just like one car at a time, so didn't want to really show every pass because it was slow and methodical. And we're going to jump up again, and then eventually we get to 2nd. But at this point, a cautions comes out at some point here in like the next lap. So I had a bad exit out 4, and I had to let off a lot, and even got a nice jump down the front. But something happens this lap, and the caution's going to come out. So basically at this point we're racing it to the line. So I got a nice run down the back. I'm getting the suck as we like to call it because the draft's ridiculous in this game. But even hits the apron, and we're coming to the caution here. So I'm trying to get a big run, but it's just not going to be enough here. So now we're just going to jump a little further into the race after a slew of cautions. And now we're in P6. We're entering 3 and 4 here. Evan's trying to look under the 2 car, and then the 2 car drives on the apron, and then there's a huge checkup, and we all die. So the caution comes out. But something interesting is about to happen, so we're just gonna, get the car turned around and go around. And even in the 20 car was not too happy with the 2, and then the 2 just completely destroys him under caution, and then I had nowhere to go. So yeah, that was pretty uncalled for, to say the least. So now we're gonna jump a little further into the race now. So here's the restart right after that crash. I went to the outside to scan a few spots, and it looks like Bacon was sleeping there because 2 people were to get in the inside, but I'm getting a nice run through 1 and 2, and Blake slides up a little bit, and now we're 3 wide, and Combat gets to the bottom, but I've got a huge run off turn 2, so I go inside the LCS, and I'm able to clear Combat, so I've gone to 14th to 10th already, but by the end of this lap, I'm going to be P8. Actually, Eagle got in the wall. So I'm actually P7. I gained 7 spots in 1 lap. So I was like, oh, the seas have parted. This is great. So now we're going to jump a little further into the race now, too. So we're jumping to lap 140 for a restart. Just had a slew of cautions at this point. So I was able to start second on the inside. So basically you're second. So because the outside's so bad. So yeah, we were able to get clear for second here. And at this point, there's 20 to go in the race. So I'm kind of content with riding for a bit. So I kind of just ride behind Andrew here for a little while. So we're just going to jump a little further into the race at this point. Yep, so now we're jumping to come to the lap 147. And I'm still riding behind him, but I make a dumb mistake and went up high and I got shuffled. And now we're coming to 3 to go. And this is when all chaos breaks loose. I was able to get back and forth, and me and Combat had some contact, and he got shuffled, and that's 100% my fault. But I went on the outside here, and I was like, oh, wow. Kind of worked, but not really. But right here, coming to 2 to go, Evan's able to shove his nose. Andrew forces him through the grass, and then Evan's not having any, and shoves Andrew up. And then Andrew got on the wall, and then Gary got under Even, and I'm like, oh, this is my chance. I'm going all the way on the apron. I've got my nose, and I'm like, oh man, I got this race. This race is mine. The seas have parted, and I'm going to take the lead. But in 4, I turned too much, and I hit the apron, and Gary gets a huge run, and then Even gets under me, and I get sent 3 wide, and I'm just all over the road. And I was kind of heartbroken, and I turned in way too much early and hit the apron and throw my chance of winning the race completely away. And then Gary is able to sneak away into the lead. And at this point, Gary has the 1 because he's just got like 2 or 3 car lengths, and you can't get a big enough run in time. So we're going to come through 3 and 4, and Gary's going to win, and Even second, and I'll come home third. And yeah, that's kind of heartbroken that I felt like I threw it away after the seas parted. And you don't see a lot of the controversy that happened in this race. There was a lot of it. It was all behind me at the end. So, like, our teammate Rocket's getting suspended 1 race, and then Eddie's got on probation. The 2 cars on probation for wrecking the 20 under caution and stuff. And there was just a lot of heated tempers, and next week things are going to be a lot different, to say the least. But we got a nice P3 through the win away there. Come to the white. It is what it is. But it was a wild race, and we'll see you guys next week at Watkins Glen, which should be interesting to say the least. So if you liked it, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.